Welcome, students. Your mission, should you choose to accept it, is to spend the next semester with Dr. Christian learning science. I am going to cover the orientation module highlights and the syllabus, and other information will come forth as we go through. I am working to rebuild all my little video vignettes for all my classes. So for the most part, there shouldn't be any issue with the fact that whether you're a hybrid, an online, or face-to-face, this information is appropriate because all colleges use a learning management system to reach out to students, to keep track of things, to provide access to your integrated apps and technology and grading. So much good stuff. I mean, we are in the digital age, so I do hope that you all have your digital skill sets ready and are willing to evolve them. I'm going to guide you through and maybe push you through some uncomfortableness, and I invite you to be open to the experience, right? So which science is this? It's for all of them. I am a physical science teacher, which means that I teach the geology, the environmental, the meteorology, the earth science. I think I said that already. Geology, if it's environmental, if it's earth, I do it. Now I could do the bio and the chemistry as well, but when I went back for my PhD focusing on coastal processes and oceanography, numerical modeling, which is basically like the hurricane tracks, right? Running computer simulations on coastal processes. I kind of left the biology and the chemistry, all of which are relevant to the sciences. So in many ways, if you want to know more about that, just go to my LinkedIn page and you can see all the different things I've had my toes into. All right, so let's take a look, because I'm trying to limit this to 8 minutes, you know, the amount of time it takes for a photon to leave the sun and reach the planet and illuminate all of us here. I hope this 8-minute video illuminates for you what you can expect and some goodies along the way. So really quick, I'm a fan of the right click. If you are not using that as your go-to, please get in the practice of that. If I right click, I can either open this in a new tab, which would of course put me up something over here. It's saying unauthorized, which tells me I must somewhere be in a learning mode, student view. That's all right, we'll get there. Or we can right click in a new window. So really it depends. If you plan on staying on this specific browser window, just quickly open a new tab because you know you're going to use it. If you are not sure what you're going to and you just want a quickie, open up the new window, because then you can close it out here real quick. I thought I was in the leave the student mode, leave the student view, leave, there we go. You can very quickly find out where you are and then close it out. So most of you probably, I hope you all have this, your Canvas dashboard set for tiles. I think it's called card view, as opposed to the list view or the recent activity. Best practices is the card view. So if we come down here, I haven't published our courses yet, but that's forthcoming. I'm going to just use my environmental course as an example. Again, they all have the very, like 99% the same. So it says recent announcements here across the top. On your home page, I will always have the top 2 most recent announcements showing. So announcements should go straight to your notifications. If you do not have notifications set, I'm going to start this conversation with that biggie. So up here, you would click on, again, right click, open in a new tab. You're going to go to your settings. You're going to add in, make sure your email address, by default, it's your Eastern Florida, but you can add a personal email or you can add to have it pushed to your telephone. Highly recommend that you do that. So your notifications, that's the settings here. To go to notifications, then you can decide what do you want and how often. Some students are like, I get too many notifications. I get it, I agree. But there's some things like an announcement that you should have pushed to your telephone, or for me, I just have it go to my Outlook, because I have Outlook on my phone here, and I turn on the badges so that I don't miss things, right? Super important. Some students will go through the whole class and they're clueless, and it was totally at your hand. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and close this out. The reason I opened it again as a new window is I can quickly close it and not lose the place that I was. All right, so when you first join my class, you're going to come here on the very first day and you're going to click the Start Here button. If you want to jump ahead to your textbook page, it's the same thing as one of the pages in the module. You're welcome to do that, to like get access to your textbook. Your textbook will be on the left-hand side. Pearson is for, I think, my geology and my environmental. It would say for my oceanography, it's McGraw-Hill. For my meteorology, it's Cengage, and you don't even have to worry with it with Cengage. Your book is automatically loaded. You're already a first day person. The only issue is if you're not first day, then that's handled on the textbook page. Okay, so here we are. It says Start Here, and so where Start Here takes you is to the orientation module, and you will see here that let me go into student view. You have to have a check mark next to everything before you can move on. So when I first get here, I've already viewed some of these pages, so you can see, oh, she's good to go. I have not viewed these. And because I have not viewed these, I will not be able to unlock the next modules. I am sad, sad, sad when I go in here at the end of like the second week sometimes, and I see students who have not yet completed all of these requirements. You have to understand that completing a module is this: I viewed it, I marked it as done, or I submitted it. It has nothing to do with when you open that, what you did on that page. For the module, you must do one of those three things: view it, mark it as done, or submit it. And you can see here on the modules page what those requirements are. You do have an initial post due in order to keep you in this class. Our deadline is next Wednesday, the 22nd. That's when this assignment is due, but it's a 3-part assignment. So after you go through all of these pages of information to view them, how long you stay on the page and explore it, totally in your hands. But once you do that, you will get all these check marks and you will be able to open up the remaining modules. Each one of them is based on completing, quote unquote, completing these submit, view, mark as done. All right, so as you go through here, take the time to maybe right click, open in a new tab, explore what are all these things that are available to me. You can close that tab if you want. So I've done my best. I know a lot of students are like, it's too much words, too much reading. Perhaps, but it's always here. So whether you do it now or you have a question later on and you're like, oh, I want to ask her something, you might want to try here. So for example, how do you navigate this course? Well, I just showed you a real quick way of doing that. What is the teacher's vita, like her resume? Does she have the credentials to be doing this? How do I take a screenshot? Not a picture of my screen to upload, but an actual screenshot. All of that stuff is provided for you, and of course the course policies. I have a professor's Q&A page. I'm going to open this in a new window. You have questions of me. Do I need a textbook? Click on that. It drops you down to the list, right? So all these many, many questions that you might have that students have asked me over the years, probably find an answer here. Every time I can, I might provide you the link for it. Well, not might, I do. So, there are many, many ways to get to the top of the mountain, Mohammed, but you must start walking that way. You are responsible for your own education. So let's talk about that. This is what we're going to get into now, is something called the attendance requirement, or like how much time, here we go, how many hours will I spend in this course? It depends on whether this is a 16-week, a 12-week, or an 8-week. I have covered this in detail on this question, but basically there's something called a Carnegie unit. The federal government says that for a student to get 1 credit, this is a 3-credit course, you must spend at least 50 minutes times 3, so that's 2.5 hours with the content / lecture / whatever. But then you must also spend at least 2 to 3, well, they say 1 to 3, let's average it at 2 hours per credit outside doing your own stuff. So folks, that is 2.5 plus, let's do 2 times 3, that's 2 times 3 is 6. That's like about 8 hours a week. That's why taking 15 credits is considered full-time. I'm not going to require as many as this 144, 136 hours. I will be happy with, at the end of the semester, that you have given this class about 96 hours. So that's 5 to 6 hours a week. You need to put that into your plan for your family, for your outside activities, for your job. We've all done it. We have all done it. So while I hear your frustration and maybe feel overwhelmed at times, best practices is to set aside the quality time in order to study and do well for the course. Okay, so all of that stuff is available to you there. Once you go through this orientation module, which again, you got to it from this home page, right? Right here, it said start here. After you do that orientation module, from then on, you're going to want to enter the class using modules, okay? You want to know your grades. I highly recommend that you go into your grades here. And when you do, you will sometimes, well, nothing's been commented on, but you'll see these little icons along the side. Each of those icons has a meaning. Please make sure to explore those icons. Was there a rubric? Did I make a grade submission comment? And yeah, I'm sure I did. Please make sure to look at those before you reach out to me if you have questions. You can link to all the people that are in this course. I'm going to not hover on that because students should not necessarily see each other that are in the class. We do use Harmonize as our discussions. Most of those would be linked as an assignment, so you probably don't necessarily need this access. Here's your first day if you want to get to all the pages. Again, if you want to go straight into your textbook, here's one way to get there. But as you will find out, that's if you want to go to like read the book or maybe go there and see an old assignment. But my course is designed using modules. Now that I know I've completed this, I'm going to lower that because then it will take me straight to the module that's opened. When I go to click on an assignment, so let me leave here now. When I go to get to my textbooks, to any of my textbook assignments, they are here inside of the modules. Some of you are always going to want to be driven by this, oh, let me just go here to get to my assignments. You're going to miss the entire way the course is designed. This over here has several purposes, one of which is just to let you know something's coming up, maybe highlight an announcement that came in, maybe some future due date. But if you go here to your syllabus, you will see that there's the written syllabus, right? Right click, open in a new tab. But definitely read through the syllabus. This is our contract, right? And all of the goodies. So for example, this one's a big one. How do you reach out and talk to me? Where's that one? I just saw it right here. What's the appropriate way to communicate, right? Please, if you're going to email me, make sure you do this. You can refer to me as Professor or Dr. Christian. Anything else is not cool. Please use the proper respect when you're communicating with me, and I will do likewise, I promise. So there is our syllabus. Here's a quick look at the timeline, which models or mirrors what goes on with the orientation, the organization of the modules. But if you look here, these are all the assignments. And when I get all the way to the end, let me do this as student view for you. When you get to the end of these assignments, you will see that there's several that were not listed up in the group. And that's because all of these assignments are either extra credit, so they have no due date, or perhaps they were some kind of a grade book item that did not have something that you had to do, but something that Dr. Christian put in the grade. So you must understand that anything that falls out of this, that's in the grade book, but falls out of not having a specific due date, it's not going to show up here on your homepage, and you're going to probably miss out on things. So please don't let this drive you. You should make it a practice to come in and hit modules, close out the modules that you're not working in anymore, and your modules will open straight to the module that you need to be in. All right, so what else did I want to hit on this orientation that has taken now 15 minutes? Oh, I lost my piece of paper. All right, so the home page, I showed you about your notifications, all these things over here that you can access, right? These are all the things that you're able to. We are taking our exams using HonorLock. I will have a separate video for that. Super important that you do not cheat on my exams. I really do not like having to fail students the last week of the semester because they have continually not used closed resources on the 4 exams that I give you. Again, that's a video for another day. So attendance, again, that's, you must be checking in, you must be coming in doing, 3-4 hours of hard work, and then another 3 or 4 of doing stuff, maybe researching. So again, 5 to 6 hours is the expectation. So your syllabus is here. Always you can this is a quickie, always you can access the details here. Again, I'm not going to, I'm expecting you to put about an hour into this very first week for the course orientation. Go through this information. If you need to meet with me, there is a page called Meet My Professor. It tells you a little bit about me. It shows you a link to a virtual office meeting if we are doing it instantaneously. Like if you call me and I say, hey, let's make a quick virtual screen share, show you how to do something, that's where you would go. But if you want to plan ahead and make a booking with me, so I might say, book an appointment with me, that's where you go. You click on the bookings and it'll take you to the next available time slot. And then you can fill in that time slot and you will get your own direct meeting link for that. So please make sure to reach out to me at any time if you need to. So we're just going to next our way through. Again, our modules have certain organization. I guess the thing I will close with at 16 minutes, and I do apologize, we're what, 2 photons making it to the planet, 8 minutes each. The thing that I would say to you is this: take the time in the beginning here to explore this. It will solve a lot of your stresses. Feel free to ask me questions afterwards. But above all, you really need to advocate for yourself in college, right? You and you alone are the one who's going to do well or not well. I am here as your guide. I'm here to facilitate however I can. But you chose a class with Dr. Christian. Let's see what you can get out of it. I will do my best to help you get out with an A or a B. See if you can't get those, 5 hours a week. D's and F's are rare and highly, you really have to try hard to get a D or an F, or rather I should say not try hard, right? So I think at this point I'm babbling. I feel like there was something else I wanted to say to you about that. And this virtual cafe here, that's a place where you guys can go to have your own little meetings. You can make a real-time meeting if you want. You can, you don't have to do this alone. I guess that's the bottom line, is that, although we live in a digital age where you're probably doing a lot of this from your own home, you do not have to. All right, this is with technology. If we can talk to the space station, we can talk to each other. The question is, are you willing to be uncomfortable? And if you are, then I can take you on a really big journey and hopefully evolve your mindset, evolve your knowledge of the sciences, and help you figure out, maybe you're just taking this class for an elective, and that's fine too. But maybe you'll see something as I did that I didn't know that. And my time in my AA and the courses that I took as I was exploring, they helped guide me on a path that I would have never said I was going to do, back when I was 15, 16 years old. So you never know what tomorrow holds. I am here and I'm available to you. Please take advantage of the resources that are available to you. And I guess that's it for now. Ciao for now. So I have an 18-minute video and I hope you took the time to watch this. Let me know where I can help. All right, ciao.